Chad, you tell me when we're live. All right, good evening. Welcome to a regularly scheduled meeting of the Waterville City Council. I here at home actually don't have my agenda in front of me because it's on my computer, which is going through an update right now. So Patty will start reading out the agenda items tonight. So if you're wondering why I'm not doing it, that's why.
So do we want to start with the pledge, Mayor?
Yes, please. And can I just say, if everyone can just follow along with whoever's saying that, because when everyone starts chiming in, we'll be there in spirit.
Who shall?
Rick is already he's already standing in front of the flag. He'd be a good one to do it.
All right. Here we go.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Play ball.
So the first item on the agenda is a disclosure of conflict of interest.
Next.
No one has a conflict?
Nope.
Okay. And the next item is the approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Patty, roll call. Or yeah, everything has to be roll call, right?
Yep.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure this out, how this works between me and you right now.
Right. Okay. Feel free to stop me at any time. Council
good.
Morris,
Yes.
Council Oliveira,
Yes.
Councilor Smith,
Yes.
Councilor Mayu,
Yes.
Councilor Foss,
Yes.
Councilor Frankie,
Yes.
Councilor Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed. So the first item under unfinished business is Ordinance 92, 2020. An ordinance providing for amendment to solid waste ordinance. Be it enacted by the Waterville City Council acting as municipal officers as follows. That the solid waste ordinance section 1-4 subsection B3 be amended to include mobile home parks in this subsection.
Is there a
Moved
motion
or
to adopt?
Second.
Any discussion? I guess we can take a roll call.
Council Morris,
Oh, no.
Council Morris, you're on mute.
Yes.
Councilor Oliveira,
Yes.
Councilor Smith,
Yes.
Councilor Mayu,
Yes.
Councilor Foss,
Yes.
Councilor Frankie,
Yes.
Councilor Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed. The next item is Order 95, 2020, an order providing for acceptance of a Maine Health Access Foundation grant. Be it hereby ordered by the Waterville City Council acting as the municipal officers that the city accepts the $13,400 award from the Maine Health Access Foundation to purchase a fit testing machine for use in the fire department. And be it further ordered that the fire chief be authorized to complete all required paperwork necessary to complete the grant award and be further authorized to expend an amount not to exceed $13,400 to complete the project.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, we'll have a roll call, please.
Council Morris,
Yes.
Councilor Oliveira,
Yes.
Councilor Smith,
Yes.
Councilor Mayu,
Yes.
Councilor Foss,
Yes.
Councilor Frankie,
Yes.
Councilor Thomas.
Yes.
Vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed. The next item is Resolution 103-2020. This is a resolution providing for authorizing issuance of a marijuana cultivation license to Theory Wellness of Maine Cultivation LLC. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Waterville acting as the municipal officers as follows. That the City Council hereby authorize the issuance of a marijuana cultivation license to Theory Wellness of Maine Cultivation LLC, 20 Industrial Street. Be it further resolved that approval from code enforcement and the fire department, along with all outstanding personal property taxes, be paid as a condition for the license to be issued.
Move to adopt.
Second.
And I believe we have those folks with us here tonight. Is that correct?
Yes, Brandon Pollock is on the line, and if you'd like to ask him questions, he could certainly speak.
Great. And I just kind of like to give an intro. Oh, there he is. I'll let him introduce himself.
Good evening.
He's here.
Yeah, good evening. Thank you for inviting me to the meeting, especially in these sort of difficult times. Very much appreciate the chance to answer any questions about our proposal. Our company, Theory Wellness, we started in Massachusetts. We currently have several facilities down here, both medical and recreational cannabis facilities. We employ about 220 people here in Massachusetts. I'm a Colby alum, so I have ties to Waterville. I started my first business in college there. So we found an excellent property to have cultivation, manufacturing, and retail at 20 Industrial Street. And we're looking to, invest and hire probably 15, 30 local folks to operate a business. So we have experience. I've been doing this about 6 years now, and happy to answer any questions about the operations, about what we're proposing.
Great. And I just want to say that we were able to catch up last week, and I appreciated the time. So everyone else is aware. One of the reasons Waterville is having this new business come and frankly go to a place where we need, it's a perfect spot to have some little revitalization and rebuild on some buildings, is because we already had an ordinance in place. And so I think that, I was not on the marijuana committee, but some of you were, and to you and all the private citizens that were on that committee and put countless hours, a lot of time and effort to craft something that at the time was just a kind of theoretical in your heads. This is the result of that. All of that work was that here's a new business wanting to come to Waterville for that forward thinking. So kind of want to commend you guys that had all that work on that, and hopefully be welcoming you to Waterville. I would encourage everybody to do the same. Is there any questions from the council?
Right here.
Oh, sorry, Sid, I can't see you. You're on my phone, so I don't have the full screen view here. Go ahead, Sid.
Yeah, having been on the marijuana committee myself with Jennifer, I wanted to welcome you, Brandon, and your business to the city of Waterville. Very excited to have that part of our city on Industrial Road, you kicking off a little bit of revitalization there. Definitely excited about the jobs, definitely excited about the tax revenue. So it's very much a welcomed business, and I think you will do very well there. And this was the whole idea of drafting a marijuana ordinance and making this a welcoming place for this type of business in these areas, and that are going to be instrumental, I think, and going to be good for a lot of people down the road. So welcome to Waterville.
Thank you. Yeah, certainly appreciate the work that you folks did on the ordinance. It's very forward thinking, and one of the few communities that had put forth something earlier in the stage of this business in the state of Maine. So it was very helpful for us to find a city that had that foresight.
Applaud.
Okay, Claude.
Just a couple of technical questions. Is the reason that we have three items on the agenda because of you're doing manufacturing, growing, manufacturing, and retail all in the same place?
That is correct, Councilor Frankie. There are 3 separate licenses that need to be issued, so we included them separately on the agenda.
Great. And also, is this the property that we just sold?
No,
So Because I'm not, we're leasing this property, so I'm
You're
not sure
leasing.
the history.
Excuse me, leasing, yes.
Mike Roy, I see you.
This property is the former Kai's Fiber Machine Shop, which is in back of the Best Western Hotel. So in terms of location, I think it's ideal. It's not obviously in a residential area, it's in a commercial area, commercial industrial area. So I own away from a lot of things, so I think it's perfect. Location-wise.
And anybody else? Okay, Patty, I think we're ready for roll call.
Yes. Counselor Morris,
Yes.
Counselor Olivera,
Yes.
Counselor Smith,
Yes.
Counselor Mayu,
Yes.
Counselor Foss,
Yes.
Counselor Frankie,
He's gone.
There you go.
Oh, Councilor Frankie.
We count that as a yes when they go away like that.
Counselor Thomas.
Yes.
Shall I catch up with Counselor Frankie when he comes back on this?
Yeah,
Okay, so it's a 6-0 vote pending Counselor Frankie's vote.
very good.
So the next item is Resolution 104, 2020. A resolution providing for authorizing issuance of a marijuana manufacturing license to Theory Wellness of Maine Manufacturing LLC. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Waterville, acting as the municipal officers as follows, that the City Council hereby authorize the issuance of a marijuana cultivation license. Oh, that should be
Yeah, it should be manufacturing,
This
Patty,
one
you're
should be-
right.
Yep, instead of cultivation, it should be manufacturing license to Theory Wellness of Maine Manufacturing LLC, 20 Industrial Street. Be it further resolved that approval from code enforcement and the fire department, along with all outstanding personal property taxes, be paid as a condition for the license to be issued.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Patty, do you need an amendment for that, or is that?
I think because it was in the title, it's fine. It's really a Scrivener's error, so I don't think we need an amendment.
Okay. Any discussion on this one, or can we move to the roll call? We'll move to the roll call.
Counselor Morris,
Yes.
Counselor Olivera,
Yes.
Counselor Smith,
Yes.
Counselor Mayu,
Yes.
Counselor Foss,
Yes.
Counselor Frankie is
Oh, yay.
calling. Counselor Frankie,
I'm back, yes.
hi, yes. Counselor, we lost you on the last vote. So for the marijuana license for manufacturing for Theory Wellness of Maine, how would you vote on that resolution?
I'm a yes on that one as well.
Okay, so that would be 7-0. So now we're voting on the marijuana manufacturing license, Resolution 104. And we're actually at your vote on that.
Oh, that's another yes.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Thomas,
Yes.
the vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
Okay.
If anyone objects, I'm going to make a motion that we read items 105 through 113 by title only.
Second.
Great. Do we need a roll call on that?
Yes. So these are to
Seconded.
read
Wait a minute.
Resolution 105 through 113 by title only.
That should be 108.
We're on 105. We can do all these by title only, Mike.
You're talking about the public works equipment bids, right?
Right, but I'm just going to go ahead and take the last item for this gentleman, plus the Mainly Brews liquor license by title only as well, because those aren't.
I'm sorry, I got you now.
It'll save time. In case we lose.
Judging by the audio. it sounds-
Okay, so I'll take a roll call on this then. Counselor Morris,
Yes.
Counselor Olivera,
Yes.
Counselor Smith,
Yes.
Counselor Mayu,
Yes.
Counselor Foss,
Yes.
Counselor Frankie,
Yes.
Counselor Thomas,
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed. Okay, so Resolution 105, 2020 is a resolution providing for authorizing issuance of a marijuana retail license to Theory Wellness of Maine 3 LLC.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Patty, it looks like there's the same error in this
Yeah,
one.
instead of cultivation, it should be retail. Yeah. That's what happens when you cut and paste. My apologies.
I'm good. Any discussion? We'll take a roll call.
Thank you. Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Council Smith,
Yes.
Council Mayhew,
Yes.
Council Foss,
Yes.
Council Frankie,
Yes.
Council Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed. The next item is Resolution 106, 2020, a resolution providing for amusement license to S&L Productions Incorporated, doing business as Mainly Brews.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Is there any discussion? We will take a roll call.
Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Council Smith,
Yes.
Council Mayhew,
Yes.
Council Foss,
Yes.
Council Frankie,
Yes.
Council Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed. The next item is Resolution 107, 2020, a resolution providing for bid award library restoration work.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion. Okay, we'll have a roll call.
Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Council Smith,
Yes.
Council Mayhew,
Yes.
Council Foss,
Yes.
Council Frankie,
Yes.
Council Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed. Okay. The next item is Resolution 108, 2020. This is a resolution providing for a bid award, single axle dump truck with accessory equipment.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion. Okay, Patty?
I believe Councilor Frankie has his
Oh.
hand up.
I can't see your hand. I don't have my computer.
Okay, I'll
Counselor,
just jump right in then.
please do.
My question about all of the equipment that we're voting on tonight for the Public Works Department is the city's looking to spend more than $500,000 on equipment right now. I understand, Erica, that this is bonded money, but we're still taking $500,000 out of the city's checkbook at a time when we don't know how much money is going to go into the checkbook over the next couple of months. I think we need to be very cautious. And I would ask if there's a way that we can postpone the purchase of this equipment for, say 3 months to see exactly where we stand financially.
Is that a motion?
Well, all right.
I think he's looking for a little discussion.
Well,
Well,
right, but we can make a motion and see if there's a second and then have a discussion.
okay, I'll make that motion then.
Is there a second? I guess not. Okay,
I mean, I guess all I'll say is it's borrowed money. We have no choice but to spend it on this equipment or something similar. We went through this last year. A lot of this equipment that we're replacing is so old that it's costing us tons of money in maintenance. Some of these items have actually cost us more in maintenance over their life than what we paid for them in the first place.
Mhm.
So I think it would actually cost us money to not move ahead and buy this equipment in maintenance.
Mike, I see you.
I very much agree with Counselor Thomas on that point about the maintenance costs. The other thing on a number of these pieces, and Mark Turner can correct me if I'm wrong, is we place the order for them, and many times they don't come in until 3 or 4 or 5 months later. So many of those things are going to take time to come in, and certainly a couple of them are critical for winter. The first one is especially the dump truck, which is, I'm sure, also a plow truck. So some of these are pretty important for winter use.
And I just want to follow up with Eric and just say, when we say it's borrowed money, just for the public's understanding, we borrowed this a long time ago. This isn't like we're going out now to borrow it and then we're saying we have to spend it. It's just, that was something that before COVID-19, we anticipated these needs and took that bond. So
Last September.
right, as part of the strategy of more frequent bonding, but smaller bonds, so that we don't have massive tax hikes like we used to, where you have the big jump, then you wait for them to pay off, then a big huge jump. We were actually able to, the way it's, again, the city to continue to do this down the road, to keep on this pattern, because if you do, you're going to be able to stabilize your taxes much better than was done a long time ago.
Sydney.
Sydney.
Sid?
Yeah, I want to reiterate what Eric said and what Mike Roy said about this equipment. If there's any department out of all of our departments that needs new equipment, Lord knows it's Mark Turner's Public Works Department, because I tell you, I've seen more broken down equipment, not only in the winter time, but in other seasons as well. He has spent a lot of money in maintenance on some of this equipment, very, 20-plus-year-old equipment. Well, he has kept relics going practically on wooden wheels on some of this stuff. So I do give him a lot of credit. He is a very frugal person with his department. This money was approved a long time ago. And again, like we said, it's going to take some time even to get this equipment in place and going. And I can't say it soon enough. And it's very, very much needed.
Anybody else?
Claude's got some.
Counselor Frankie has his hand up.
Thank you.
Well, that was very informative, and I think it was informative for the public. Thank you for making it clear why we're going to spend $500,000. And I agree, Sydney, that a lot of that equipment is almost as old as I am and does need to be replaced.
Anybody else? Right, we'll have a roll call.
Counselor Morris,
Yes.
Counselor Oliveira,
Yes.
Counselor Smith,
Yes.
Counselor Mayu,
Yes.
Counselor Foss,
Yes.
Counselor Frankie,
Yes.
Counselor Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed. The next item is Resolution 109, 2020. This is a resolution providing for a bid award, HD track loader with accessory equipment.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Any discussion? We'll take a roll call.
Counselor Morris,
Yes.
Counselor Oliveira,
Yes.
Counselor Smith,
Yes.
Counselor Mayu,
Yes.
Counselor Foss,
Yes.
Counselor Frankie,
Yes.
Counselor Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed. The next item is Resolution 110, 2020. This is a resolution providing for a bid award, dual axle roll-off truck with accessory equipment.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Discussion. Take a roll call.
Counselor Morris,
Yes.
Counselor Oliveira,
Yes.
Counselor Smith,
Yes.
Counselor Mayu,
Yes.
Counselor Foss,
Yes.
Counselor Frankie,
Yes.
Counselor Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed. The next item is Resolution 111, 2020. This is a resolution providing for a bid award 2 each two-wheel drive regular cab trucks with utility bodies.
Move to,
Discussion. Okay, we'll have a roll call, please.
Counselor Morris,
yes,
Counselor Olivera,
Yes.
Counselor Smith,
Yes.
Counselor Mayu,
yes,
Counselor Foss,
yes,
Counselor Frankie,
yes,
Counselor Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed. The next item is Resolution 112, 2020. This is a resolution providing for a bid award four-wheel drive double cab pickup truck.
move to adopt,
second,
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Counselor Morris,
yes,
Counselor Olivera,
Yes.
Counselor Smith,
Yes.
Counselor Mayu,
yes,
Counselor Foss,
yes,
Counselor Frankie,
yes,
Counselor Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed. The next item is Resolution 113, 2020. This is a resolution providing for a bid award, 1-ton four-wheel drive truck with dump body and plow.
move to adopt,
second,
Discussion. Roll call, please.
Counselor Morris,
yes,
Counselor Olivera,
Yes.
Counselor Smith,
Yes.
Counselor Mayu,
yes,
Counselor Foss,
yes,
Counselor Frankie,
yes,
Counselor Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed. The next item
I
is,
have one, sorry to interrupt,
Sorry.
Patty. Have we had any phone calls from anybody?
no.
Okay.
Shall I plug on?
That was the only
Yes.
question I had.
Okay. Resolution 114, 2020, a resolution providing for support for Build Grant Main Street project. Be it resolved by the Waterville City Council acting as the municipal officers that the city manager be authorized to include $1 million in the proposed 2020 bond order in support of the Main Street Build Grant project. It is understood that this amount will be included in a list of other capital improvement needs when the city council considers a bond order this summer.
Move to adopt.
second,
I'll go. I think
Go ahead.
ultimately we're going to end up tabling this tonight because I think there's some more work that needs to be done. But I just wanted to, this is a chance for the council to have an initial discussion about this. And part of honestly why we probably should wait is because there may be money in this next stimulus package that the federal government is working on that may go towards these kinds of projects. And you know, I just think things are changing quickly, so it might be wise to see what happens over the next 2 weeks. Honestly, I'm also not completely convinced in the long run it will be as over budget as it looks like right now. The price of paving and road work, you know, obviously a lot of municipalities are going to be putting that kind of work on hold, which may drive the prices down on some of this stuff, which we really won't know until we go bid on it. But I do think, you know, unfortunately, most of us weren't here in the initial phases of the planning on this. I think Nick and Sydney and Mike Roy are the only members of city government who were sort of in the application phase. So we are where we are now. And we could rehash everything that happened up to this point and how we ended up with a project that's over budget. I think the important thing at this point is that this project moves forward. I think there's a lot of paving work that's going to happen in conjunction with this project that would ultimately need to happen anyway. And if the city was to try to go it alone or in partnerships with the state, we'd probably end up laying out somewhere in the neighborhood of this amount of money anyway, and all we would get was just the paving of those streets and not this project that's been in the works for 3 years. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and let other people chime in.
I just want to say a few things. And one thing I want to say while I have the opportunity, I've heard around the last few days, oh, you know, Mike Roy's coming to grab another $1 million from the taxpayers. Listen, Mike Roy, who was actually probably the most skeptical person when the city applied for this, and it's been probably the most cautious through this. The city council voted for this project. And the project is now, for multiple reasons, over budget. And the city manager is doing his job by coming to the council and saying, this is the situation and this is what's needed if you guys want to continue with the project. And I just want to be, I think it's important to be clear, and I know most of you are, but I think it's important that the public understand that too. Mike's job is to execute the will of the council. He's doing that, and he's telling us what we need to do. I agree with Eric that it's probably wise to be cautious a little bit and say, you know, we have no idea how the situation could change. I do know that there's been a lot of whittling down of this project. Over $1 million has already been knocked off it to try to squeeze the scope of this. And we don't know what the final costs are going to be. We can tell you based on estimates of current construction costs. So I do think that one thing to consider is that, and I've had this discussion with Mike, Eric, Mike, Morris, Sid, and maybe some others, that if we're going to spend money, it should be on things, as Eric stated, that are the city's responsibility anyway. We know some of these roads have to be repaved. Some of the sidewalks are crumbling. If you go to Front Street, it's a hazard. These are things that would have been this way. So as long as the money is allocated to things that would ultimately be the city's responsibility, I think it's important to consider that it's still, you know, a $12 million project where the only skin in the game that the city has is $1 million. And I know Eric has also worked on with others on looking at how we could use a TIF to leverage one of the new Colby buildings that would more than pay to offset this, so it wouldn't cause any kind of tax increase or burden on the taxpayer. So those are just some thoughts and general considerations. I see Meg and Sid.
I do agree with you, and I do worry that if we don't take this federal money, that we won't get money in the future. That's one thing I'm concerned about, and it's worth noting.
Sid?
Yeah, I want to give a little insight on this too, from a business perspective and what's best for the city of Waterville. And I do compliment councils that think in the same wave as Eric and Meg. And I did have conversations with several people today. Chris Gauntz, who's head of the Central Maine Growth Council, Kim Linloff, Mid-Maine Chamber of Commerce, of course, Mike Roy. I've spoken to you and the mayor, and several councils as I speak about this. But I was involved with the build grant with Mike Roy, with the public meetings with the mayor, with all those different things. And federal money like this notion and the hard work done by Garvin Donegan on the as part of the Central Maine Growth Council, and what he does in getting grant writing done and going through U.S. Senator Susan Collins.
Sid, I just want to interrupt you real quick here. It is important to note, and I'll let you go right back to it, and I apologize, but it's an important time to stop. Garvin Donegan was for the Central Maine Growth Council, but for the public to understand, he works for us. That is who we pay for our Office of Economic Development. So that is the city essentially being involved. Go ahead, Sid.
Yes, and that's where we have skin in the game with this grant, is the fact that we authorized him to go ahead and start the process in achieving and accomplishing this grant of upwards of 12 million. So we're talking about $1 million of overages, and that might not even be what it is. Going back to Eric's statement, I think I'm going to put a motion out on the table right now to table this until we can see and analyze the revenues that are available. I think taxing like Eric and I are on can make a very big play on this, and it will be no rise in taxes. And that's exactly what I think everybody on the council wants to have. And we need to look and have discussions with our partners, which is Maine DOT and Colby College, and get further analysis and I'm sure board meetings and what discussions they have to have, and we can whittle this down to a really reasonable amount of money. I do not.
I want to second that motion before we get away with it.
The only
Okay.
thing I want to say is I just want to make sure everyone has a chance to chime in before we actually.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in agreement. I want everybody to have a say, and I'm just putting that motion out there. And I think everybody is justified to have their say, because this is something that is smack in our face, and I really believe in the timetable of we need to take our due diligence and our time to analyze this and look at all sources, and we have time to do that. There's no hurry to do this. So I think we have the discussion and we move forward and make the best decision possible on this.
I think that's good, and I think it's also, yeah, I think we need to understand the full scope here. Yeah. Is there anybody else? I can't see your hands right now. Patty, I do have my agenda now back up.
Oh, okay.
Bob, did you want to say something?
No, I'm happy to put off this spending money. That's been my consistent position since this COVID business started. As long as we're going to wait to spend money, I'm happy to do that.
Okay, I just have one last point. I mean, we are working on an amendment to the downtown TIF. The current TIF expires in 12 years. And so we'd like the buildings that have already seen improvements, we want to leave in the current district, but we can maximize our revenues and get more out of this in the long run if we take some of the buildings that are going to see improvements in the next couple of years and put those in their own TIF district, and use those to fund this project and possibly the concourse redesign. And the Castongway Square piece has been removed from this, and that'll be a separate discussion later on. And then the other question that I have, and Mike and I have talked about this, I'm not entirely convinced that we need to borrow this money this year. This is a, $10 to $12 million. Our share is $1 million. The question is, are we going to have to put our share in now, or could we possibly wait until a year from now, 2 years from now to actually borrow that money? And so we're going to be doing having some more discussions about when the city will actually have to outlay the money that we'd be on the hook for.
Yep. Okay. Any other comments on the motion to table?
Do we have a timeline for how long it will be tabled or when it would come back up?
Until the next regularly scheduled.
Okay, so next meeting. Oh, okay, good. Okay, so not very long.
Right. Yeah, I think that way it stays fresh. It's in front of us. There's time for feedback. And, yeah.
Okay, good. That sounds great.
Sydney has his hand raised.
Sid?
I also want to add to the tabling of the motion that we allow Mike Croy, the city manager, to lead the investigation on where some of these revenue sources come and some analysis, and he come back with a full specialized report on where he believes all of the money that we can take, including the tax increment financing part, is and apply this to that. I know that Mike, I'm not going to speak for you, Mike. I know that you'll speak what we talked about, but I do. His office is wide open to all of us to come into, so he can have one-on-ones with each of us as far as his analysis of this. And Mike, if you want to speak on that, go ahead.
Right. I'm glad it's going to come back on June 2nd. I hope that by that time, I can come back to you and say we found a way to bridge that shortfall in the project, the 1 point. That's my goal for June 2nd. We do have to make a decision pretty soon about proceeding because we have a September deadline with the Federal Highway to present to them a finished set of plans and specs and cost estimates. We talked with them about extending that time into the fall, and they said, no, they absolutely cannot do that. So at some point in June, we're really going to be faced with that do or die decision of can we support it and how much. So I will be back on June 2nd, and I look forward to talking with you on it. I don't mind any of these questions because $1 million is a lot of money. especially since we weren't expected to be a financial player. Lots happened. And of course, a lot that has happened is that 5 or 6 of you were not involved at the beginning part of this. So I understand that makes it especially difficult. The council has taken 3 separate votes in the past since 2016 to support this all the way along. So it's been a pretty consistent level of support from the city elected leaders. Here we are kind of at an endpoint. So I realize how important it is for us to all understand how we got to this point, number one, and then how we can go forward.
Okay. I guess we can move to a roll call on the tabling until the next meeting.
Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Council Smith,
Yes.
Council Mayu,
Yes.
Council Foss,
Yes.
Yes.
Council Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
Okay. And next is Ordinance 115, 2020.
An ordinance providing for amendment to licenses and permits ordinance. Be it enacted by the City Council of the City of Waterville, acting as the municipal officers as follows, that the licenses and permits ordinances be amended as shown on the attached.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Any discussion? Okay. Have a roll call, please.
Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Council Smith,
Yes.
Council Mayu,
Yes.
Council Foss,
Yes.
Council Frankie,
Yes.
Council Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
Patty?
Counselor update.
Yes,
Patty, Kevin Joseph get in touch with you?
yes, he did. Would you like me to explain?
Sure.
Yes, Kevin Joseph of Guacamoles on Main Street has approached Councilor Thomas and myself today to see whether the councilors would be interested in waiving cloture to consider a liquor license for his business on Main Street, Guacamoles. He has indicated that it's really just for beer and wine when people are eating lunch. He plans to close around 6 o'clock once things settle down here. And I indicated that it requires a motion by the council to waive cloture, but that I didn't see any issues with it because he's a well-known businessman in the area. He already runs a business with a liquor license at the You-Know-Who's Pub, so I didn't see it to be an issue.
Motion to remove cloture.
And second.
Roll call, please.
Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Council Smith,
Yes.
Council Mayu,
Yes.
Council Foss,
Yes.
Council Frankie,
Yes.
Council Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed. So this will be resolution 116, and it is a resolution providing for issuance of a liquor license to Main Street 108 LLC, doing business as Guacamoles. Be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Waterville, acting as the municipal officers as follows, that the City Council hereby authorize the issuance of a victualer's license to Main Street 108 LLC, doing business as Guacamoles at 108 Main Street. Be it further resolved that approval from code enforcement and the fire department, along with all outstanding personal property taxes, be paid as a condition for the license to be issued.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Any discussion? Counselor Frankie.
Well, I just think this is an opportunity to demonstrate to the downtown merchants that council is looking out for their best interests, and we're interested in them remaining as downtown merchants.
Agree. Anybody else? All right, we'll take a roll call, please.
Council Morris,
Yes.
Council Olivera,
Yes.
Council Smith,
Yes.
Council Mayu,
Yes.
Council Foss,
Yes.
Council Frankie,
Yes.
Council Thomas.
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor and 0 opposed.
Okay.
Yep, so we're up to counselor updates.
I'll kick this off if I can. I sent you guys an email. I don't know if you've all had a chance to see it. This was really good news. Remember, we just voted a week ago to block off the street and the concourse in order to have some outdoor dining behind the Lion's Den and you-know-who's. A couple of years ago, we had tried to set this up, and the original intent was to actually use that park that's kind of like a dandelion garden now, to have some outdoor seating there. And we weren't able to because the state liquor inspector, the Bureau of Alcohol said, no, you can't do that. You can't walk from the sidewalk over to the park without. Jennifer Bergeron has done a lot of work in the last few days and has been able to obtain a waiver, and we will have that. She's going to forward that to the city, so Mike and Patty have that, and that means that they would be able to actually set up their dining in the park, which means we don't need to close down the street, which means places like Kennebec Federal will, I think, be much happier with that situation. So I think this works out for everybody. I don't know that it needs council approval. I think that's something Mike could just say, since you guys already said there could be outdoor dining, but I think it's important that everybody has a chance to weigh in. So I just wanted to bring that up. Is that right, Mike?
I agree. Yes, I agree. I think it's a better option than being in the street, both for them and for people who want to come back and forth through the concourse. The park is very little used, so why not make it available for outdoor dining for businesses that are trying to do everything they can, as Councilor Frankie said a few minutes ago.
Yes. I see Councilor Frankie.
Is there some kind of traffic control as part of this plan?
Not yet. I guess we'll evaluate it and keep a close eye on it. I'm not. We're going to have to talk with each one of the restaurants and see just what their experience for traffic back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Councilor Mayu has his hand up.
Yeah.
I agree with what Councilor Frankie said earlier. This goes along with the spirit of the downtown. Small business is, as you know, has been on the forefront, splashed on the front page of the papers with this COVID. This is an industry I'm very familiar with that has taken a big hit, the biggest hit out of all the COVID industries affected is hospitality and restaurants. So, you know, I couldn't think of anybody. Kevin and Jennifer are both incredible business owners, very much involved in the community. And this would just be a great shot in the arm. And I think it'd be great for the community and outlying towns to come in and make use of this small little park that has been nothing but really the Mount Desert of Waterville in that parking lot. So if we can make something out of it and make it an entertainment, so be it. I think we're, full speed ahead.
Great. Any other councilor updates tonight?
I just want to mention Travis LaJoy at 18 Below reached out to me today about also making accommodations for outdoor dining for 18 Below. I put him in touch with Patty. So I would imagine we'll be seeing something on our next agenda. Just wanted to give people a heads up and get it out to the public that that discussion is happening.
Thank you.
I have one.
Okay.
Julian Payne sent me an email and asked me to read it for the council. Dear Councilor, I would like to lodge a formal complaint that should be addressed at tonight's council meeting. The communication between below shows an electronic communication between all councilors. This means that Councilor Meg Smith, who sent the email, conducted an illegal meeting as more than three councilors were involved. The press or public were excluded. Having being a member of the school board, I never communicated to more than 2 board members at once. Additionally, the council chair gave a great speech about contacting him, not the city manager. I have sent 3 emails and phone calls, and this poor excuse for a leader has never responded. It is time for the council to act like council acted like adults. Julian Payne. He asked me to send it. He asked me to read it, and I read it because he's one of my constituents.
Is there any other councilor updates?
I just want to say something.
Sure.
First of all, I find it interesting that he singled out Counselor Smith because several people have sent emails to all of the counselors.
Thank you.
I believe the email chain started with the email from Counselor Foss.
Yeah.
To all counselors. The other thing I want to say is, with all due respect to Julian, the thing that he's referring to, I actually was talking to the counselors and told them to, in the interest of saving Mike's time, to reach out to me. And third, quite frankly, Julian has never been anything but rude to me. And I don't have the time to deal with him. So I did not respond to him because frankly, I've had enough, and he's not in my ward. And, you know, life is too short to let people like Julian Payne suck the life out of you. So.
Is there anybody else for a councilor update?
Councilor
Dick,
Foss says,
I'd like to rebut to that just real quick. The email string that he's talking about actually started with Nick Champagne.
I believe the media was on that, right?
I believe so. Yep.
And so I don't want us to get into a debate tonight about the emails, because that's a question for Bill Lee, because there is a line where it becomes a public meeting. There's a line where it doesn't.
right.
So, and I also don't want personal insults hurled back and forth with people on here who aren't on here. I think we should move on. Anybody else for a councilor update? Okay.
I think Maddie's trying to talk.
Oh,
She's muted though.
thank you.
Mayor, sorry, we got a call in about a comment on the build grant after the discussion ended. Shall I share it now?
Please, yeah.
So this was from Kathy Weeks, Ward 1. Her question or comment was, in 2016, the council was voting on accepting grant money. There was no discussion about putting in money. When the project started, who in the city was the driver of the project? What action did we have at the table for revisions? And where is the 1 million going to come from?
Sure. I guess the city still has to decide where the 1 million would come from. So that got tabled tonight. So that part got answered. There was a lot of meetings. I went to some of them. I did them between various, they were kind of big meetings where you had people from Colby, the State Department of Transportation, and the city. And usually there were several people, you know, sometimes it might have been just the engineering office. Sometimes it could have been Mike Roy. So and Mike, correct me if I'm wrong. I did not go. I was not involved in a lot of those meetings, but I think, Mike, you were. Does that sound accurate?
Yes, for better or worse, I was involved in all of them. and there were a lot of them. I think we started in March and we finished in November, something like that. 6 months worth of planning meetings, city, Colby, all the downtown, well, I think just about all the downtown businesses were invited. I know Sydney Mayu remembers that. So it was a very big group that did the planning. So in regards to
you talk about I'm talking about, there was also a ton of private meetings too, like up at State DOT.
Oh, yes. A lot of those actual design or detail meetings. The planning meetings, I said, were in 2015. And then in 2016, the city council didn't take any vote on grants. The city council adopted a strategic plan for the downtown with 4 elements. One of those elements was about traffic patterns and pedestrian safety. That's where the build grant came in. In 2017, the council took another vote to actually support a 2-way traffic change if money could be found. So that kind of formed the basis or allowed for the preparation of the grant, which came later, is the council had already said, we're in favor of changing traffic patterns. If anyone can find some money, let's do it.
Okay.
Sid had a question.
Okay.
Yeah, to
Councilor?
reiterate that, all that planning with the build grant, this has been a very slow and methodical and thought out, well thought out process, like Mike Roy was saying. And this was something that involved many, many public meetings. I know that there were, like he was saying, 6 months. I think it was closer to a year that we were involved in some of these public meetings, and every small, all kinds of different zones of the downtown district and small business owners were invited to give their input and feedback on these public meetings, and they were send out special invites for one night. They would, this section would come, and then another section would come. And yes, other meetings involved the main DOT, some strategic planning with Colby College, some input from the public on variables, what we're looking at for aesthetics. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. The methodical thinking and planning and instrumental changes that we were all talking about was well-laid plans for this build grant. And when it finally came about through authorization from the council, that's when Garvin Donegan got heavily involved and was able to secure this mind-blowing grant that only comes around in a lifetime.
Okay. And any other counselor updates?
Counselor Frankie.
Councilor Frankie.
I just would like to make one comment about Ms. Weeks' question. I don't think we have fully answered all of the elements that were in her question. It was quite involved. Would you be willing, Mike, to take a look at her question and see if you can develop a little more comprehensive answer that we can give when we talk about this at the next meeting, since it's been tabled?
Yes, I really will, because I'm very, I regret that we can't have in-person meetings at this point in time. And if I thought we could get to that soon enough, I'd say let's delay a final vote until we can have a meeting where we're all present in one room. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen soon enough. So I'm very happy to answer her question. And please, if there are other people out there listening in or watching, you have a question, call or write, send an email, go through your counselor. This is a lot of money, and we want to make sure that people understand the history and the importance of it. We're at a critical time. We've had 75 million put into our downtown, and this is a critical piece, I think, to kind of wrap it up.
Mike, what do we have plans to start reopening the city a bit?
To start opening city, I'm sorry?
Reopening the city?
You mean City Hall and other facilities?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes. We met this afternoon and laid out a plan for City Hall as to how people could come in. So we'd like to, starting next Tuesday, have what we call a soft opening. People who hear about it can come in. We're going to have a person stationed at the door. It's going to be, I guess, a lot like Nick going in Hannaford or Shaw's. At least someone to monitor how many people are coming in. And if they want a mask, we'll have a mask. We'll have hand sanitizers there. They'll be encouraged to stay the proper distance away. We'd like to do it in a soft way next week. And then June 1st, open it up, make sure people know about it. So yeah, we were met with Chief Massey and Chief Essler this afternoon to map all of that out.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Great news.
Thank you. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, I think all of our employees are ready. And
Yeah.
I mean, some of it is selfish because there's a lot of excise tax money out there that that we need.
Yep.
And that's going to give people a chance to come in and do it.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody-
Mayor Isgro, I have another question or comment that has come in.
Okay.
This is from Julian Payne. He's in Ward 5. And he is explaining that the only reason he singled Meg Smith is because that's the only email he received. The chair's response to constituents is poor, and the fact that the chair would behave that way is terrible.
Okay. Do any other counselor updates before we do the manager's report? Okay, Mike?
On the manager's report, we still track our excise and state revenue sharing very, very closely. All of us were shocked yesterday when the state revenue sharing check came in, way more, like $100,000 more than last year at this time. It probably is because the state revenue sharing, which comes from income and sales taxes, lags behind. So it may be a month or two lagging behind.
Right.
But that was certainly a big boost. So we're tracking excise very carefully. We're certainly low in excise for the month of May. We have 2 weeks left. So I'm hoping by June 2nd meeting, I can give you really a kind of a 11-month report, because remember, June is our last month of the fiscal year, and I can let you know where we stand with both excise and state revenue sharing.
Okay, great.
And also the departmental spending too.
Fantastic, Mike. Thank you.
Yep, that's it for me.
Okay. Is there a motion to?
Other than to say, because we've been meeting every single Tuesday for quite a while, don't have anything planned for next Tuesday. Let's take a Tuesday night off and come back
Great.
in June. How's that?
Sounds great. All right, motion to adjourn, anyone?
Motion made.
Second. Good night.
Good night. Good night.